Alright, this is lesson number 27 in Algebra 1, more on the distributive property and simplifying decimal equations. So let's just keep going with some of the distributive property that we've been working on. Example 27.1, they give us xy and they're multiplying that times the quantity y squared minus x squared z. Okay, so my z's look like that so that you don't get them confused with 2's. So let's go ahead and do this. We take this, multiply it by each term. So xy times y squared, this first part right here, is going to give me xy cubed, because 1y times y squared is going to give me y to the third power. Bring the minus down. Now I'm going to take the xy and multiply it by x squared z. So xy times x squared z. Let's look at my x's. I have 1 on the left and 2 on the right. So x times x squared is x cubed. Y, I don't have any y's to multiply, don't have any z's to multiply, so they just get tagged on there at the end because I can't do anything with those. And that's it for that one. Alright, let's look at the next example here. And that would be example number 27.2. And it is 4xy cubed. And we're going to multiply that by x to the fourth y minus 5x. Alright, so let's multiply that first. There's no number to multiply the 4 by, so it stays. My x's, I have an x to the first times x to the fourth, I add those. I have a y cubed times a y to the first, so I add those. 3 plus 1 is 4. Minus 4 times 5 is 20, so I can multiply the 4 times something. The x's I multiply. Notice that and the y has nothing to multiply, so it stays. Notice that I just look at each number and letter at a time and see if there's anything I can do with it. So I looked at the 4. There's a 5 I can multiply. I did it. There's an x. There's an x I can multiply, so I did it. There's a y. There's no y over here, so I can't multiply it, so it just tags on the end of it, and we're done. Let's look at example 27.3. Get rid of that. And we have ay minus 4y to the fifth. And then we have 2x squared y. Okay, so notice that looks different. It looks backwards. Well, doggone it, let's not do it that way. Let's put the 2x squared y in the front. We can do that with multiplication. We just switch them around so that it looks better. And then I can multiply. There's nothing to multiply the 2 by, so it stays the same. Nothing to multiply the x by, so it stays the same. Nothing to I do have a y times y, but I have an a here. Couldn't multiply it by anything over here, so it stays there. Have my minus. 2 times 4 is 8. X doesn't multiply by anything, but the y does. A y1 plus a y to the fifth is y to the sixth. And once I'm done with that, I'm done, except I'm going to move the a in front. Try to keep it alphabetical, and it's just a mathematical way of doing that. As much as possible, keep your letters in mathematical order. And that's it for continuing on with the distributive. The next part of this video will be simplifying decimal equations, and we'll be done. Okay, so with calculators, solving decimal equations is a lot easier, but we're going to do it kind of the old-fashioned way, just so you can see that if you don't have a calculator handy, it's still pretty easy to do. So what I do is I look and find my decimals and see which of these decimals has the most numbers to the right of it. Okay, that one has 1, that one has 1, this one has 2. So this one has the most decimals to the right of it. What I do then is I put a parenthesis around the entire equation, and on the outside, this has 2 decimals to the right of it. I'm going to multiply it by a number with 2 zeros. So I count the number of decimals, and that's how many zeros I'm going to multiply the whole thing by. So in this case, 2 zeros is on the number of 100. If this were .002 and it were three decimal places over, I'd put 3 zeros, so it'd be 1,000. So now I multiply 100 times this, 100 times this, 100 times this, and my decimals, I promise, will all go away. See? Decimals all went away. So now it makes it a lot easier to do the algebra. So I've got 2m equals 420. Divide by 2, divide by 2, m equals 210, and I'm done. I don't have to put the decimals back. I don't have to do any figuring. I am done. Okay, so that's example 27.5. So let's jump over to 27.6. Alright, let's look at the decimals here. I've got 3 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So 3 is the biggest, so I'm going to multiply it by 1,000 because there's 3 zeros on 1,000. And when I do that, I get 2k here. I get, instead of 0.02, I get 20. And instead of 4.02, I get 4,020 there. Okay, subtract 20, and I get 2k equals 4,000. Divide by 2, and my k equals 2,000. And that's it for lesson 27.